these events. So whenever a non-Korean or non-European player takes down someone like Ryung or Byeon has a bounty, GuMiho has a bounty as well, whenever these sort of players get taken down in a best-of-3 series or higher by a Chinese player, Latin American, North American, etc., a CA player, then they get to claim that bounty. So Ryung loses to Silky today, and Silky claims a $30 bounty because of that, and it's just a cool little system. It's again an extra benefit for partnering with OSC events. It's an extra benefit for the players. It's just a cool little thing that just makes things interesting. It's always cool. I'm really going to do a better job of kind of talking about OSC and the kind of benefits of OSC more this year, because I realized how cool a system it is when I was casting the championship. So it's something I'm definitely going to push more myself this year when we're casting the OSC events. And obviously, we're going to partner in the majority of WardiTV events with the OSC championship as well, because it just makes sense. It gets people to sign up, it gets people to play, and it just rewards the players, which is what we want to create with our events. We want to create a rewarding environment. Guys, we do have, to the bottom left-hand side of the map, our red Zerg player from Team Liquid. It is Snute. And he is going up against the blue Terran player to the upper right-hand side of the map, none other than GuMiho. TVZ best of 3 here. Let me just quickly update on Team Liquid that GuMiho Snute is playing, just so people can see that, because it is obviously a good match, and it's a good way for people to see what sort of games are being played. I think a lot of people, when they see the WardiTV weekly, I mean, it's because it's an online cup, we can't exactly predetermine matches, right? So we can't exactly add to Team Liquid a whole bunch of different things here and there already, like, oh, look, these guys are playing today, on the Team Liquid calendar at least. People have to go and click a lot to find that out. So, kind of nice just to be able to bring that info up kind of nice and easily, I guess, whenever we need to. Anyways, we set up into this guy's going to see a Marine coming forward, so Overgrowth starting to take just a little bit of damage here in the early stages of the game. So Overgrowth taking a little bit of damage, and is going to be going down actually caught off guard by this Marine-based opening of GuMiho. Snute loses out on that, so that's a little bit unfortunate right from the get-go, as we're going to be seeing the link speed on the way up here from Snute back at home. So he's set up into his link speed back at home. We're going to be seeing the drone popping out, coming down to the natural expansion, and command center coming up in the natural expansion as well. His factory going to be finishing, and his reactor coming up too. I mean, GuMiho is one of these players who will not play bio or 2-1-1 openings anywhere near as much as the majority of other Terran players. GuMiho is a big fan of mech, and he does play mech a lot of the time, so while he isn't necessarily going to play mech just yet, the opening he's going for does allow him to go into mech a lot more easily. So, you know, if you go into 2-1-1, you're not going to be playing mech because you're just set up into, you know, Marines and Stim already. But if you go for a factory-based opening like this with Hellions, then, you know, mech's a possibility. But it's not a double factory opening, so bio is actually more of a possibility now than a lot of other factory-based openings that have been common nowadays. Mostly kind of the second factory and the second factory, second reactor kind of Hellion Cyclone-based openings. Those have been very popular. So, see how this goes. We're going to be seeing these couple of Hellions come to the left side, taking that watchtower for a couple of moments. Hatchery coming down on the third base as well. Actually going to go for the armory coming down, so he's going to go for a Hellbat attack very early on. See how well prepared Snute's going to be for this, because right now, Snute's just sort of droning and not doing anything else at all. Losing that first overload means he loses a lot of scouting potential. He does see another couple of Hellions moving across the map. The thing is, he has to think about the possibility. He's going to drop a Baneling Nest down. I mean, Baneling Nest is not a bad idea. I mean, Banes to get through the first initial set of Hellbats definitely helps, and then the Queens to just finish up afterwards. It can work, but it's very late because this Hellbat attack is very early. I mean, 4 Hellbats are already walking forwards here, and 4 Marines as well for the medevac to support. So it's going to be kind of crazy how quickly this attack comes in, really, as well, Snute getting a lot more Queens on the way, and I mean, he has been building a lot of Queens. The negative to this build from GuMiho is that it is hitting very early, and so there isn't actually that many Hellbats kind of come into play. This, 6 here in total now? But, I mean, they actually fall pretty quick, and it was a good target fire on the medevac as well to deny further healing. Snute might run around with his Queens, trying to minimize any damage he's taking here. Pulling back to this Queen right now. It's very low and has a transfuse on it, so he would like to keep it alive. He loses this Queen up to the top side, but hey, he actually cleans this up pretty effectively. The Ling's coming in, he'll be able to help chase this away. I mean, it's when you get rid of the medevac, the Hellbats don't get healed up anymore. And without the healing coming in, life does become a lot easier, so it's pretty sweet as we're going to see Hellbats joining up on the left-hand watchtower. A lot of Lings up the top side. Snute immediately setting up a counter-attack here. Another Liberate on the way. We're going to see the +1 vehicle weapons. Looks as though we are indeed going to be seeing mech out of GuMiho as He's clearly collecting his Hellions up on the left side of the map, and this engineering bay is not down just yet, so the throne die comes in. He raises his depot on the high ground, so Lingers do not get in towards the main base. SCV's pulling in towards the frontier, and, well, Hellions, a couple of them turning around to come help out. At the same time, a couple of drones going down. I guess that was to a Liberator, which is now most likely being killed off. Yes, it has. So sorry we missed that, but at the same time, Snute's doing good damage over here. 3 workers killed. He doesn't get too much done. He comes back into the mineral line. He actually targets the wrong SCV there. I think he wanted the lower health one, which was over the top. He actually didn't kill off too many workers, but he bought some lost mining time, and he does again kill off that Liberator, which was across the map. Overall, I'd say Snute's income is looking pretty good right now, after those drones had to pull away. Going to be seeing the Cloak on the way up then, and Banshee on the way too, and this is going to be the follow-up here from GuMiho. So Cloak, Banshee, but honestly, Snute defending well early, applying some pressure, starting to get his 4th base ready to go. He's not in a bad position to kind of continue on in this. He might lose his 4th hatchery right here. He might have that delayed a little while. And the 3rd CC is not exactly finished just yet either, so Snute has some time. As you can see, these Hellbats marching forwards. Snute have enough to defend. He actually only has Queens once again. Kind of weird, you know, when you hold off the first attack, you don't necessarily expect maybe another attack so soon. And, well, Snute does have to start pulling his Queens in position. They're actually going off in a bit of the wrong direction at the moment. These Hellbats are very low, actually, so if you can just get rid of them, you know, if you can just target them down, they'll die very quick. As you're going to see drones still pulling away to the sides, trying to escape. Lingers will jump onto those Hellbats here. These drones are actually in a little bit of trouble. 5, 7 workers killed. They're stacking up a little bit. He's only going to lose 7. In the end, Snute makes a pretty okay-ish defense of it all. I mean, that's just sort of a bit of punishment because he over-droned a bit. I mean, he's up towards 70 drones right there, with barely any units on the map. He had like 3 or 4 Banelings, no Zerglings. So that was honestly, considering the situation, not so bad from Snute still. As you see the 3rd CC now morphing into an orbital. Snute going to try and retake his hatchery in the center once more. Resources lost is very even, so even trades throughout, but again, Snute has been maintaining that economic advantage. Now that's expected of the Zerg player, especially against mech. He's going to be trading a little bit worse throughout this game, Snute is a little bit less efficiently. And so it's much more important for him to be mining more throughout the entirety of the game. He's going to drop down the Spire. Now, Snute is a big player of Swarm Host, and especially recently in the mech play, he has been playing a lot of Swarm Host, so expect to see maybe an Infestation Pit and Swarm Host later. Intriguing to see what the Spire will be for initially here as well, whether he does commit to a few Mutalisks, or whether he's just going to be holding out a little bit, I guess, as we're going to be seeing Lings going down in the natural expansion without really doing a lot. At the same time, going to come in towards the 3rd, and again, maybe they get like an SCV kill or so. They're not going to get too much though, and honestly, you can see actually good pull away by GuMiho. Snute not killing many workers at all. Banshee coming up into the other side of the map. We'll clean up the watchtower. Snute just double expanding as we speak. And again, his Spire about to finish. Couple of 4s on the way now from GuMiho as well. If Snute makes Mutalisks, he wants to make sure he's only going to make... I mean, the initial 9 or 10 can always be worthwhile, because you can always kind of fly around those 4s, avoid the 4s, avoid the turrets, and just find openings, you know, work towards whatever you feel is best. And there you go, 9 meters on the way. Shouldn't be too much more than this. Maybe we see a big kind of Mutalisk transition later in the game. That's something Snute did against GuMiho in the WardiTV Christmas Invitational group stages, where he picked up a 2-0 win. There was a 40 Mutalisk rematch on Whirlwind. It was great games, those, and they are now available on the YouTube channel at youtube.com/WardiTV. And Sally's getting caught here, but as the meters come in, going to start cleaning up a few of these. There are a few drones going down, but again, Snute's economy is healthy enough to lose a handful of workers for Hellions, so not the end of the world. I mean, 6 workers going down for 8 or 10 Hellions. It's a favourable trade for Snute, really. Yes, he loses a bit of mining time, but he, you know, in terms of minerals lost, it's better for Snute, which is what this may very well all come down to. I mean, it seems very early to be starting to talk about, hey, potentially, like, you know, this could, you know, it might become a very efficiency-focused game and all the rest of it 9 minutes in. But that's the sort of situation you do find yourself in these kind of mech games, especially on Daybreak. We actually could be in for a very long run right here. Actually, these guys played a very long game on... was it Snute and GuMiho? I think it was. They played a 40-minute game in the OSC Championship as well. On Daybreak, if I'm not mistaken. So that was a 2-1 victory for Snute back then, as he made his way through the winner's bracket of the event to end up finishing top 4. Top 4? Top 3? I think it's top 4. Top 4, lost out to Keen in the loser bracket finals. Anyways, Muta's still flying around. I mean, a 4 here and there. I mean, a 4 isn't that brilliant against Mutas, really, unless they kind of really stack up. This is one of those units which really benefits from having multiple in the same place. Actually takes a few kills there because the turret is helping out quite a lot. And once you get a few, you know, shots on it, the turret will help to pick off the Mutas so much faster. So, yes, a 4 is good if you've got some support for it, but a single 4 on its own generally isn't brilliant. There's the Swarm Host coming in, so we talked about this. Snute has been a big believer in the Swarm Host. in against mech recently. So I mean, he's always been a Swarm Host user whenever they're somewhat viable, and he feels they're very viable against mech. Now, it's interesting because actually Swarm Hosts are something which the Korean players aren't doing so much. So it'll be interesting to see how GuMiho is going to try to respond against this, because it might be something he's just not used to playing against, because there's been a big thing. In fact, there's been a couple of Reddit threads, maybe on Team Liquid or somewhere Reddit, where people were like, hey, why aren't people using Swarm Hosts in Korea? Why aren't the Korean Zergs using Swarm Hosts against the mech play? And there's no real reason. It's just something that isn't in style over there in Korea. So, kind of interesting the stylistic differences. We see some fours caught off guard to the south side. I mean, I say caught off guard. They're still trading pretty well, but they will begin to go down. I mean, generally you don't want to lose fours like this, right? That's 4 fours going down for basically 3 right here. Snute cleaning on up. Swampo is going to drop up some locusts to the top side as Hellions run by. And, Hellions going to start getting cleaned up here as meters flying around as well. So, Swarm Hosts, obviously the kind of technique or the skill to Swarm Hosts is figuring out how many locusts do you spawn at a time. Do you spawn all of them at once? Do you spawn half and half? Do you spawn 5 Swarm Hosts, then the next 5, and then the next 5? It kind of depends on the situation, and then you have to time your kind of positioning in your next engagement based on when you're going to have Swarm Host locusts ready to use right from the get-go. So, you're going to be seeing some locusts right now, half of them jumping up, they're going to go towards the main, because Snute knows there's not a big fight coming, and because he knows there's not a big fight coming, he can afford to send some Swarm Hosts into the main base, and then in fact he's going to send a few more, because he realizes there still really isn't a fight coming in anytime soon. So there's going to be a lot of damage done. I mean, we're going to talk about dead factories, and maybe even a dead CC if he could have targeted it down a bit sooner. He's killed 7 workers though. I mean, that's already pretty good, as Mulis will get killed off in the sky. Locust forcing a couple of 4s back. The Banshees here is still a nuisance. That's why the meters are kind of nice to have around still, though he has now lost them. Add on a few Corruptors instead, which is not a bad idea. We'll give him a nice little bit of stability up in the skies. We see Cyclones being added on from our Terran player. A little bit of extra kind of DPS, I think, to try and get through those Locusts a bit faster once they've landed on the ground against the main army. You can see that this time Snute, maybe knowing that there's a bit of pressure coming his way, not sending those Swarm Host Locusts out initially. I mean, he's not in position to. And so he's just going to have all of the Locusts going to be on the same cooldown now. Can use them all at once if he wants a larger fight. Otherwise, he's still got some potential. Just send half and half in, harass around a little bit further. See a little bit of a Hellion run by setting up to the south side. And well, I'm going to drop the scan. Looks as though he's just going to try and pressure more so than anything, rather than committing to the fight. Because if he wanted to commit through, he would have just ran through. He wouldn't have scanned, I don't think. So just keeping those Hellions back. Doesn't want to sacrifice them. As we're going to be seeing Queen picking up one of the kills very nearly, a second as well, as his Hellions a little bit low on health. Roaches coming forward do pick up a second kill right now, and Hellions have to back away towards the third base. There's a lot of Locusts coming up. They're going to land right onto this army right away. 1 4 going down, another 4 should be targeted. In fact, multiple 4s going to go down. Just the 2 in the end. I mean, I guess you forget kind of how quickly those Locusts die, and the damage falls off very quickly as you lose out on a lot of them. Now Snute is about to finish up a whole bunch of Spine Crawlers, which is going to be important for him to help hold on until his Locust on the off of cooldown. He's got what, another I don't even know, 15 seconds? He's got 15 seconds to go until the Locusts are ready again. They're going to be essential in terms of defending against this. A lot of Baneland is currently morphing in from Snute as well to the top side. Currently just sacrificing the central base as Roach is going to try and buy a little bit of time. Dropping a Transfuser too. I mean, this base is going to go down. Corruptors will come down to the south. We'll try and get rid of the Banshees, but they cloak up. Locusts do drop. Here come the Banelands as well, as well, the Locusts surrounding 1-4 gets rid of it here, and we'll push back against the rest of this too. I mean, still here, Snoot's kind of cleaned up quite a bit. Still just needs 1 Overseer to get rid of these Banshees, because these Banshees are currently picking off Swarm Host after Swarm Host. Expensive losses for Snute. Where's his Overseer? He doesn't have a single Overseer. He doesn't. No detection. That's really costly. He's lost so many Swarm Hosts that I just didn't really need to lose. That said though, Snoot still trading somewhat efficiently. Topside base, very low on health, has to be a little bit careful about that. Does not want to lose it here. But by the time that GuMiho tries to fight again, Snute, well, he's getting very close to Vipers. Greater Spy on the way as well for Broodlords. Still just waiting for this Overseer to come into play though, and for these Corruptors to clean up these Banshees. Did actually see a Hyperflight Rotors at one point was started from GuMiho. He did not commit into that. So Corruptors should be able to chase this away, as we're actually going to see Snute once again is looking to try and hit and strike with these Swarm Hosts. Drops a few Locusts right here to defend against the Hellions. And a few more, which I guess he'll send in towards the base once more as well. Just going to try and pick off a bit more production. But GuMiho sees this as an opportunity. Locusts coming in across the map means that he can attack through the center. And, well, Snute is not necessarily going to have enough to defend this right here. So, this base in trouble right from the get-go once more. Locusts not target fire or anything. Chasing the tank, so they're going to miss out on a lot of potential damage output. You can see at the same time, Corruptors coming in. They caustic spray down the bottom right base. As Snute once again loses the central base. So, losing the base in the center Tanks, fours, Hellbat still pushing through this position. Another scan up to the top side. This base in trouble as well, actually, from Snute. I actually don't know what Snoot's going to do about this. 7 more Swarm Hosts currently building. His bank is okay. He's got Broodlord potential here very short. Did he just cancel the Gorilla Spire? No, just finished up in fact. So he can build his Broodlords now. He's losing a lot of eco, he's losing a lot of drones. His army supply is way up there, but it's a tough position. Does he morph in the Broodlords? I think so, because he doesn't have any reason to keep the Corruptors around. A couple of Banshees, I suppose, but that's about it. In fact, there really isn't much anti-air here at all, so Broodlords could really be a kind of a movement, a change, which kind of kills GuMiho, honestly. Takes off a couple of Vikings, even just a couple of Broodlords. Could go a long way at this point as Snute. Well, again, he has that income. Get more of his Broodlords out of the way of that scan, of course. I guess Snute's got to kind of rely on one very large fight here to go his way, because he is down on eco. He's got a large army. That's his advantage. So he's going to start pushing through the center. Broodlords will join up shortly as they finish up, morphing in. Again, there's just no real anti-air. I mean, a few 4s mixed in. But if you can get rid of the 4s by, say, I don't even know what you do, though, because do you abduct them? I'm not sure, but the 4 is the only anti-air that's really kind of an issue right now. So if he gets rid of those, the Broodlords will be somewhat unkillable. And there's actually the Broodlords are going to start approaching through the center as the army comes through the center as well. Bane's starting to come through here as well. The top base getting killed by Banshees as well as a couple of Hellbats. Locust going to pop up into the skies. Broodlords will start a fight as well. Snute will start to take this engagement. Nice parasitic bombs will help out a lot to just give the Locust a bit more longevity here. And you're going to be seeing those Broodlings helping to push this army away. For now, Snute is able to defend. Nice little abduct. That's the sort of abduct we need to see onto the 4s. Just to help stop them from escaping and again minimize the anti-air in this army. However, now GuMiho knows about those Broodlords. Now he can begin to protect against it. He's going to make some more Vikings here. And Snute is still struggling to get any mining at all to keep on building with. Corruptor's actually going to come in, intercepts these Banshees, gets rid of one. The other one's still pretty high on health. Will give chase though. And should be able to hunt it down. You see the Corruptor going to start consuming to get some more energy back to be utilized here shortly. Banshee goes in towards the natural. Will fall here. And I mean, now he's got to use his starports for the production of Vikings instead. In fact, he doesn't have any more Banshee production at all because he's actually got a reactor on this. Actually building Medivacs. Interesting choice. Broodlords are still around. I mean, they didn't get killed at all in the last fight. They were on high ground. They're in a safe position. Snute does have the central base back up as well. So his mining can come back into play here. And here with a heavy eco advantage throughout this game though now for a little while. It's 4 and 2 HP. It's a shame because it can get repaired up and it's just so much damage, like, you know, such a better trade if you get rid of that now than having to deal with the entire health of the 4 once again. Here he comes, go, 4's coming forwards, Roaches on the ground, going to be important to tank, because again, he does not want these 4's to be targeted down too quickly by these, he doesn't want the Broodlords to be targeted down too quickly by the 4's. Pulling back here a little bit, so he's just going to kite backwards. Again, has those Roaches to help him out here a little while, but oh my god, the 4's in anti-air mode are just destroying Broodlords. This is why he really needs to bring these units in ASAP right now. I don't know if it's going to be enough though. Here we go. Locust popping up again. He's got the Vipers to abduct a few units in. So he's not going to let any of these units get away. That's for sure. As we see the Vipers. Where are the Vipers? They were just here. They're in the back. They're not moving forwards actually as the Locust moving through to help push this away. Snute is going to defend for just a little while longer once again. I'm going to be seeing 11 more Hydralisks from Snute continuing to come on up here. Still rebuilding. Still looking to just set on up. I mean, he keeps a lot of the Broods alive. 20 minutes here on Daybreak, game number 1 of Snute versus GuMiho in the round of 16 of today's WardiTV Weekly. I see a couple of those 4-drops going to move away. Actually, a couple of them will commit to the main. 4-drops are kind of scary right now. A fairly immobile army, honestly, for our Zerg player. I mean, that's going to be difficult for him to get back into the right positions. Hydrogen being targeted currently. Locust going to start pushing through the center. GuMiho unsieges his tanks, begins to pull away, knowing that this is probably not going to be a pretty fight for him here because he just doesn't have that much army supply ready to go, especially with 4's out in the middle of nowhere on the other side of the map. Planetary goes down, some SCVs immediately targeted down as well. Snute's going to lose the Hive though, which means no more Viper production. It's kind of a big deal. He starts 2 more in kind of anticipation. Starting to lose this base up top as well. These 4-drops are starting to do quite a lot here from GuMiho, honestly. Crazy stuff as we're going to see this base getting killed. No canceller. Now Swarm Hosts are on their own. They're just going to start being targeted as well. A couple of Vipers taken down. You just talked about how important they are with the Hive going down. Does not really want to lose those. Lost his spawn pool as well. Still a good army in the center though, and he's able to push this back as GuMiho tries to come through the middle once more. Snute defending, holding on. Income still GuMiho's favor. Resources lost in Snute's favor though. Which is again kind of crazy considering the situation, considering the composition. We're going to see those 4 gets taken down. It's just the 4s in the main base now, which are going to be problematic. We see, was that the Grey Spy going down? It was. Snute doesn't really have any production structures left at all, so he's going to struggle to build anything here in the near future as these 4s do lift up and move away over to the right-hand side. So this 4's going to, so his medevac's going to back away with the 4s inside of them. Locust going to pop up here again in the center, going to start pushing back GuMiho's army towards the upper right. So GuMiho's army being pushed back here just a little bit. And we've seen these couple of Vikings on the way in still, and well, there we go. Locust dropping down to try and clean up a few of these SCVs, and just wherever they can find a tank gets picked off here as well. So they're actually going to hold a very aggressive positions in the forward location now. I guess maybe looking to abduct into Hydras would be somewhat worthwhile. A few Locusts going to pop up. I don't know if I agree with them going forwards because they're just going to die so quickly. I don't think they're really going to do anything. Maybe more of a kind of a ward and a way of units more so than anything else, as Vipers seem to be on top of the fact that these medevac drops are over here. And so if you could pick up on those and abduct them in towards the army, kill them off, well, that would be pretty fantastic. There's one abduct. It looks as though both of those medevacs will go down. And nice cleanup, honestly, from Snute. Just defending pretty well eventually. Just took him a while to actually get set up into that position. Another lair building here on the third base as he has to rebuild out to get any of his tech structures back in this game. Again, that's kind of the current issue for Snute. How does he build anything if he doesn't have any structures to build from? You know, we're talking about an infestation pit. We're talking about, well, that's it. No roach warren. I mean, a spawn pool and a bane nest, but when was the last time we saw him using zerglings and banelings in this game? He makes a few infestors, which are a nice addition. It will use up his gas for now. So I guess it's something. Also, having his bases denied for so long means that he is a little bit limited on gas. You know, he's barely mined from these gases in the top left base. These Locust dropping down again, just trading out where they can, forcing a few 4s to lift up and back away. Not really killing too much here, though, this time around. You see one tank on siege, and it's still just an army collecting to the left-hand side here from Snute. Going to be seeing a few more infestors just sat here ready to go. And a few more drones building. They're about to finish up so he can rebuild the hydrogen or whatever it is he feels as though he needs. Maybe the Spire. I'm really not too sure what exactly it is he feels he needs, though. We're going to be seeing just starting to push away units to the south side. The tanks in the center is what Snute's going to want to try and stay away from. Broodlord's taking a little bit of damage right now as well, though. Vikings, the top side, actually getting rid of a lot of the Broods. Only 5 of them remain. Here come the Locusts dropping down. Huge fight coming in. And honestly, it's hard to say which way this is going to go. We see Spores picking up the last couple of Vikings. Locusts trying to push through the last couple of 4s and tanks. It goes Snute's way, but does Snute have anything left on the ground to fight against these last few tanks in the 4 until the Locusts off cooldown? Well, I don't think he does. And he doesn't have reinforcements either. Maybe even Zerglings right now would be good. He actually rebuilds more Swarm Hosts. There's 2 Broodlords left. That's going to try and hold on for him. And he's trying to target down this 1-4, which is the anti-air, and he's going to get it before the Broodlord dies. He does, just about. Couple parasitic bombs to get rid of the tank firing, which is actually kind of important because this hatchery is getting very low. Swarm Host ready to go again. He's going to move forward with these. Drop the Locust down. He will clean up here in the center. Snute is actually going to take a huge army supply lead with this as well, despite the fact he's not really been able to build much recently with the way this has been going. 25 minutes in, and Snute is actually maybe getting to a better spot now. You'll see a couple tanks sieging up here. A couple Locusts might just pop up. I think it's a worthwhile pop-up here from the Locusts when they can drop down so close to these tanks, but they drop onto Hellbats, not the tanks themselves, since the tanks are able to shoot them down very quickly. We're just going to GG out the game. He sees that Snute's got those bases up and that he can't compete with that. Let's get ready to go. As we kick things off to the upper right-hand side of the map from Team Liquid, our blue Zerg player is going to be Snute. And to the upper left-hand side, the red Terran player is going to be GuMiho. Again, welcome to the stream. If you enjoy, don't forget to hit a follow on, or leave a follow on the channel to see when we're going live again in the future. WardiTV weekly every week right now. WardiTV Team League throughout the week. Next week, IEM qualifiers as well. We got a lot of coverage coming your way. So lots of coverage coming your way over the in the near future, basically. So some good stuff coming on up. But otherwise, just yeah, welcome back to this. So, of course, if you do like to support as well, you can do so in many different ways. You can subscribe to the channel, you can donate directly. There's a Patreon page as well. You can share in the chat if you'd like to use bits. A lot of different ways for you guys to support the stream. So, do consider doing any of that if you enjoy the content that we're putting out, because it does help us to keep things going. Why don't I ever see any ads? You don't have ad block? Possibly just your location. For anyone else that isn't if there's a lot of people not seeing ads, that might be bad, because I'm pretty certain this new dashboard is broken. I don't trust it after it doesn't work the first time I used it. I lost like 3 days of ad revenue because of this dashboard, and I don't know. I don't trust it, man. I keep wanting to go, it's nice to use, but I don't trust it. Because I don't see many ads popping up on my side of things either, which is not great, because I should be seeing ads as well. Anyways, we can leave that up to discussion and debate and whatever. For now, it is going to be a 2-1-1 from GuMiho, so I mean a very different map here, Habitation Station. It's a much smaller map, and so GuMiho going to opt to play Bio on this one rather than the mech play. I mean, mech on Habitation, it can have its weaknesses and its positives and negatives, I suppose, because it can be a composition which can push very quickly on Habitation, and there's a lot of choke points to kind of take use of. There's also a map with lots of openings for flanking on. There's a few different ways things can go on here, basically, on Habitation. I feel as though the Bio is a bit of a safer way to play here on Habitation, especially against Snute if he's going to try and build Swarm Hosts. That said, actually, I don't think Swarm Hosts would be as good on this map, because Swarm Hosts on this map would be very counter-attackable. You drop Locust somewhere, immediately, your opponent just moves across and kills you. On Daybreak, we saw that nearly happening a couple of times to Snute, but just didn't happen because the map's a bit larger. But, anyways, we're going to be seeing this Engineering Bay dropping down. I'm just going to be seeing this Devo coming into play as well. So again, 2-on-1. You can actually see the single medevac building was a little bit late on his reactor or so, it seems. So he's just going to delay this medevac just a little bit here. Or delay the double medevac, just build the one medevac, and then the double medevac afterwards. So GuMiho just a slight mistake in his build early. As you see Snute with a lot of Lings actually moving down the south side, looking to counterattack right away. But double Engineering Bay will finish the wall, so there's not going to be much to do right now. You see the first medevac does load up. And starting to move on over to the right-hand side. Medevac going to going to drop onto the reactor then. Now 2 more medevacs should be on the way shortly. Well, he actually starts up his +1/+1 upgrade, so he can't afford the 2 medevacs just yet. So it's a little bit of a weird one from GuMiho. Things are just a little bit not as you'd expect them to be just yet, I suppose. As Snute loading a few more queens up. I'm just going to be seeing the queens just continue to build. Marines unloading in the main base, and we're just going to be seeing a stim in from these Marines. Queens trying to target down a few of those Marines as well. Uh-oh. What was that? A little bit of a freeze there. Hopefully that's not going to knock the stream offline, because that's been very frustrating lately. There's only a quick second. If that knocks the stream offline, I'm going to be really, really sad. Anyways, we're going to be seeing this medevac coming up towards the top side here from GuMiho. And these Marines going to start trying to fight against a few of those Zerglings. So Zerglings just trying to surround, not doing too much though. Bane Nesters coming down. 1-1 upgrades for their Zerg play as well. Everything's just starting to setting up really. So everything's starting to set up here basically, as we're going to be seeing this drop turned away. I mean, honestly, Snute's not having too much of an issue with only the single medevac across the map. Extra medevac's starting to pop now, but again, very late compared to what you expected it to be, so not too much pressure able to come in from GuMiho, as the third CC is coming down now as well. One Reaper down to the south side, we do see this 4th hatchery from Snute just on the way up, so that's starting to build right here. And Zergling's coming down, and just going to be seeing the Reaper again just popping down to the south side. I mean, just trying to run away and keep kind of something active on the map. It's good scouting for him as well, and still, and you never know when a Reaper grenade can change the kind of course of the battle. You can see the triple medevac's loading up, looking as though he's just going to drop straight to the main. I mean, he only has a queen in position over here, so it's going to be somewhat problematic as the queen gets a couple shots off. It's not really going to be that game-changing though. A couple of Lings running already. Here you go, the rest of the units coming up here right now. Mineral line will have to be evacuated for a few moments though, as Queen's still targeting down those medevacs, but now they're going to get stuck on the wrong side of the hatchery. Still getting rid of one of these medevacs here. A couple of Banes do connect on in. 2 medevacs units do make it out alive, and at the same time this Reaper slowly but surely making his way through this bottom side hatchery. You see these medevacs going to start loading once again, and these Marines just going to try and do a bit more damage. I mean, nice little position behind the mineral line here. So trying to get rid of these medevacs, gets rid of one. Second medevac not going down just yet, as Bane's getting taken down as well without really doing anything. And Snute's taking a lot of damage here as he just can't clean this up, and drones are continuing to go down. Now we see 2 medevacs to the south side, and this is going to probably be a dead 4th base. I mean, it's already low on health from the Reaper, and the Marines joining in now will just help to finish this up, as Snute's still worrying about this attack in his natural expansion. Finally gets rid of the medevacs. he's really just had a lot of issues with units being choked up and so much more here now as we see Lings streaming in. Marines go down, and the bottom side base is going to get cleaned up as well. Widowmine's going off on Broodlings. I mean, that's not brilliant, but I mean, it doesn't really hurt the Terran player, I guess. Just means he can't use those those Widowmines for the foreseeable future. As you can see, Snute a bit of a run by. He's actually going to come in, try and get a few SCVs. He's going to get a few. He's actually going to surround these units that are over here. The Widowmine's not burrowing just yet. Is it enough for him to clean this up? No, it's not. Medevac's in the sky just a little bit too good. And a Medevac's dropping over here now back into the natural expansion, rotating around from the 4th base. One Medevac doesn't quite go down as the Widowmine going to go off just on a Queen. And we're going to be seeing this Medevac combo going back in towards the main base. So again, keeping up the pressure here. GuMiho not letting up. But Snute begin to get a handle on things, begin to defend this. And now with Mutalisk on the way, he will get that kind of proper anti-air up to be able to kind of clean up the Medevacs and chase them down a little bit more easily now. A couple of these Medevacs still just moving around here. 3 of these drones getting picked off. Widowmine still active in the natural expansion, actually. Again, the Medevacs, the Mutalisk coming up, and this will change the pacing of the game a little bit. Should really help Snute out in terms of slowing GuMiho down. However, GuMiho is actually picking himself up together for a bigger attack. 2-2 upgrade is going to be finishing up for him very shortly here. So, setting up into 2-2, and these Lings just going to be running forward. Just going to try get into the natural, but a nice lift on the depot. Marines continue to stem across here over to the right-hand side. A couple of creep tumors getting taken down. And Mutalisk just going to fall back away to the right-hand side once again. So Mutalisk falling away over to the right-hand side. Some Bane's going to finish up and move forwards. And we've seen these Marines taking quite a little bit of damage. So lots of Marines starting to go down right here is, well, honestly, it's a good defense from Snute. If only Marauders left over, the Mutalisk can clean that up. He pushes this away. Plenty of Queens left over. The thing is, GuMiho has so much money to spend. He's already in a supply lead. Snute didn't have 2-2 for that fight, which obviously didn't help him. He's going to be able to clean up these Widowmines, I guess, as the Overseer finishes. So that's something positive, at least, in this. As we're going to be seeing the Marines pushing forwards once again. Actually wants to try and defend these Widowmines from being taken down. Two Banes will roll on forwards initially, and actually good connections. Hits a lot of the Marines, and he is coming in as well to try and help out. Widowmine going off on quite a clump of units, but he does clean up. Snute pushing this back, taking the supply lead once more. GuMiho still has a lot of money in the bank to spare, though. Now, Snute, without a 4th hatchery, that's going to be one of the more difficult things for him to deal with in this game. Does start that, build that up right now. So building up the 4th hatchery, getting this ready to go. I mean, he's been playing from behind on upgrades. Upgrades now even, but 3-3 on the way from the Terran player. That's the next stage of this game that's going to be very difficult for Snute to deal with. I mean, when the Terran player hits his final set of upgrades, Snute's not going to be anywhere near his own. He has to invest into the Infestation Pit, then the Hive, and then he's going to build the 3-3. That's going to take a long time. It's going to be expensive. And for now, he doesn't have the money to do that. Now he's focused on just staying alive here. That said, Muta's coming in towards the center of the map, and I like this. Just moving around with these, looking for opportunities to harass and get further damage done. Anything he can do to slow GuMiho down right now is sort of necessary, because GuMiho is a little bit... is quite far ahead, honestly, in this game overall. So anything Snute can do to slow things down would be really nice. There's Marines and Marauder too, stemming on forwards here, just trying to clean up a few of these creep tumors. A few creep tumors getting taken down. A few more Banes morphing on in. Pneumatized Carapace just over halfway done. And again, the two Medevacs to the south side here from GuMiho, moving around as well to see where else he can get to and see what else he can get up to. Going to be dropping on in. Going to see Middle's going to come in through here and just sort of take down a Medevac. Nice micro back on one Middle. Unfortunately, it wasn't quite enough as, again, the upgrades on those Marines shred through the Mutalisk who don't have any upgrades at all just yet. Cleans up the first Medevac. The Medevac on the low ground is going to be a little bit more of a nuisance. Queen's here to try and target it down. GuMiho still positioned himself in the center of the map with the rest of his army. Widowmine's positioned themselves nicely in that final set of upgrades. Now starting to finish up, allowing GuMiho to get into the next stage of this game, which really just allows him to be on the same composition but just so much more efficient once again. It's just going to be difficult for Snute to really finish this off, as we're going to see Mutas committing in once again. Medevac will go down. Trying to keep his Mutas away from the Marines, but the Marines doing a good job of target firing as well. The lower health Mutalists. A little bit of Bling Bane running forwards once again here, and Bane's going off on Marauders, not ideal. Snute 50 supply down as GuMiho really just has macroed and macroed and macroed throughout this game. A few more units just simming on forwards, and here we go. Blaze and Banes pushing on through here. Going to be cleaning out a few more of these Marines and Marauders. We'll see a Widowmine or two going off as well. I mean, Snoot's doing a good job. He's bringing the supplies back, using the meters effectively as well. You can 50 supply down, now it's only 35, which is something. It's progress. I mean, it's not easy to start fighting against a Terran army like this when you're behind. He has established his 4th base as well. That is something which is looking good over here. And these Marines and Marauders still just collecting together. Still just going to keep on pushing forwards. Here we go, Ling Bane Muta once more, pushing on through. A couple of Widowmines starting to go off. Snute pulling away from that, trying to minimize the damage she takes. And Mutants just keep on coming forwards though, and Mutalisks as well. Seeing what else they can get up to. Ling Bane still pushing on forwards here. So many Marines. Widowmines taking a more aggressive position forwards. You can see one of them targeted down. The other one as well gets targeted down. Costs him a couple of Mutalisks though. You're going to see some Banes finishing up in production. I mean, this is basically Snoot's last few last few units, because GuMiho just has way too much, and Snoot's base is going to be broken. He's only got Mutalisks left to fight against these Marines. Banes connect on in. The connections don't really matter. There's just too much, no matter what here. I think from GuMiho. GG. GuMiho takes game number 2, and we're tied on up 1. You don't have to be a complete and utter twat about it. You know. I mean, I would let you guys have opinions, but every single time I let you guys have opinions, someone feels the need to be a complete and utter dick when it comes to expressing their opinion, which is where the issues do arise, I have to say. So, just keep away from controversial topics. Let's not talk about certain channels you have certain opinions of, because it just isn't good. And it doesn't create good discussion. It doesn't create a nice chat atmosphere, and that's not what we want here on the channel. We want a nice atmosphere. Guys, the top right-hand side of Overgrowth, game 3 of this series, starting us off is the Red Zerg player from Team Liquid. It's Snute. And he's going up against the Blue Terran player to the bottom left-hand side of the map. It is GuMiho. Again, welcome guys to the stream if you just joined us here. This is the round 16 of the WardiTV Weekly. If you do enjoy the content and if you're enjoying the channel, the casting, do consider hitting the follow button. And of course, if you're really enjoying, there's plenty of ways to support the channel as well through subscribing and more. I'm a little bit ill today, which is why sometimes I'm maybe a little bit monotone. I feel I can hear it in my own voice while casting today. I'm a little bit monotone, a little bit less excitable than usual, I think. So I do apologise just a little bit. I was very ill yesterday on stream. I was casting go for SE2. Felt pretty good. Had a good night's sleep and all the rest. Casting go for SE2 in the semi-finals. And suddenly I'm like, oh my god, I feel horrible. And went home, had to cut the stream short. Didn't manage to do our evening cast. And yes, I'm a little bit. I feel a lot better today, but now I feel like I got a bit of a cold or something. So who knows what's going on? Anyways, we set on up, and we're going to be seeing the Reaper heading on up towards the upper right-hand side. Start seeing what's up. Actually, going to stay on the watchtower. I mean, Snute did go pool first last time around, so being a little bit cautious about the sending the Reaper across the map is not a bad idea. Honestly, it's kind of nice actually. If you throw in a pool first in one map, in one map of a best of 3 or something, it's really nice because then it means that the Terran player will always be a little bit more afraid of sending his Reaper across the map in the rest of the games as well, basically. So we'll see what happens. We're going to be seeing this Reaper just patrolling backwards and forwards over here. Going to see the link speed is halfway done from Snute as well. And there's going to be seeing another Queen on the way up currently. A couple of Hellions on the way out from this factory. And just going to be seeing the starport just over halfway built as well. Barracks built in the tech lab. And just going to be seeing the Zerglin speed. Again, just going to be finishing up in just the next few moments. We're still moving around as well as we see a couple of Hellions on the way up. So just waiting to see this establish. I mean, the first 2 Hellions are out and 2 more on the way. See if there's going to be another aggressive attack from GuMiho. Builds a Viking. It doesn't look as though it's going to be kind of a Hellbat attack like the last time around. Let's just be heading in towards Cloak Banshee. Actually sees this Cloak Snute. There's a Viking that's built. And I wonder if he's going to commit to the Cloak GuMiho or whether it's just a fake to kind of make him think that it's going to be a Banshee. Interesting stuff. Anyways, we're going to be seeing the 2 Queens. Just going to be joining up together and popping down another creep tumor, which did get denied there. I mean, GuMiho denying a creep tumor early is nice. Difficult to do nowadays with how many Queens you see early to deny Hellions, etc. So, denying a creep tumor so is nice. Banshee comes up after this Viking, so Viking picks up an Overlord kill. That's going to kind of mess with Snute just a little bit, losing a couple of overloads. Means he has to reinvest those 200 minerals, and we'll just slow him down elsewhere. Big Snute in the chat from Smallpox. A few people cheering on Snute right now, as we do see, unfortunately just losing a couple of overloads. He's going to be well prepared for the Hellbat attack though. Bane is going to finish up, so he should have Banes ready to go. Hellbat should go down pretty swiftly. He's got plenty of Queens, I think, to deal with the Banshees, so as long as he has the detection, if he should be kind of okay in this. So we're going to see the Hellions up the left-hand side. You see this Queen get popped, going to be blasting forwards, and just going to be seeing the Queen still just gathering together, actually, on the third base. So a few Queens gathering together towards the third still. These Hellions from GuMiho moving around, and again, thinking about where they might want to try and go. Viking to the right-hand side is just sat around, thinking about where they might want to go next. And two more Hellions from GuMiho still just gathering up on the right-hand watchtower. So he gathers those units up over here. Again, another Banshee just starting to build. We're going to be seeing the +1 vehicle weapons on the way as well from GuMiho. So we're going to confirm that this is going to be mech now, especially with the next two factories coming on down. Let's see how much aggression he's going to really apply then. I mean, where's even his first Banshee? It's over here, okay, in the main base. Couple of kills, nothing too crazy. You see a couple of drones picked off, so a couple of drones being denied. We're going to be seeing this Queen just starting to target down this Banshee as well. Rotron just over halfway done, and I mean, he's realizing that this is probably going to be mech. Overgrowth, great mech map. I mean, probably one of the best maps for mech right now because you can just so easily take multiple bases while also it being a short map to push across and be aggressive. Kind of similar to Habitation Station in the sense it's short and easy to push across. Because this map is much narrower, there's less kind of pathways to really attack through. It's just much easier to not die on this map compared to Habitation. So, let's see Hyperflight Rotors. This is something which actually was started by GuMiho in a previous game, but he did cancel it before it finished. He's going to be seeing the +1 vehicle weapons just over halfway done. Some Lings down to the right-hand side as well. So we're seeing a couple of Lings getting cleaned up right now. So a couple of Lings getting cleaned on up. We're going to be seeing this Viking to the top left-hand side working his way through this hatchery. A few Hellions coming in again. 5 drones being kind of roasted here right away. Now 9. He's going to get a few more. Those drones stacked up at the moment. Just splits away last moment. Does make it work. 11 workers going down. I mean, it is costly. As you're going to see those Hellions pulling away, going to try and get towards the Vikings for some extra damage. Queen's coming in as well to try and help out. The last Hellion on super low health there gets taken down. I mean, eventually the Queens will come into this position and we'll get rid of the Hellbat. Viking will lift, will go elsewhere. Lots of damage onto this hatchery, but overall, by the time it finishes building, it's not going to be that bad, I guess. About, what, just over half health, about 60-70% health. Viking taking a bit more damage here as well. Will it go down? Gets to the high ground. Will just about make it away. So Viking staying alive. Nice little addition there for GuMiho. This Viking's actually done a good job. 3 Overlord kills. Maybe actually 2 Overlord kills and a Zerglin kill. Yeah, 2 Overlord kills and a Zerglin kill. Not bad by GuMiho early on, although Snute has been playing pretty well himself. I mean, he lost a few drones, but he was immediately replacing them. So it wasn't that bad of an issue, as we're going to be seeing the roach speed about halfway done. +1 missile attack is going to finish up very shortly from Snute as well. The Hive is coming up to being about halfway too. And as we're going to be seeing the Hydralisk Den also about to finish up. So Hydralisk Den about to finish up here. Queen's pushing away the Hellions down the left-hand side. You're going to be seeing the Banshee is currently on the way. Hyperflight Rotors is just finished as well. Armory, just second Armory now over halfway done. And getting ready to go in towards the next set of upgrades. We're going to see a few drones getting picked off here. Where is that over in the main base? Banshee squad picks off 6 drones and is now getting rid of this hatchery. Oh, not hatchery, this evolution chamber. Words are not fun. Evolution chamber going down then. The Queen's moving forward. Is going to try and pick up a Banshee, pushing them away at least over to the right-hand side. So the Banshee going to be pushed away over to the right. Is going to see a couple of Hellions getting picked off here. 13 drones going down in total. With the Evo chamber losing +2 missile attack as well. Some nice pickoffs here by GuMiho. As Snute, well, he's into his Hive tech. He has got the Vipers on the way now. They're playing a Roach Hydra Viper this time around. Not going for the Swarm Hosts. Again, I sort of feel as though I'm repeating myself, but it's probably because, I mean, we've seen Snute play Swarm Hosts on this map, but it's probably because it's a little bit more difficult to use them on this map because there is a shorter rush distance for the mech army to push across. So as soon as you start to fight, you know, and you send those looks up in the air, as soon as they go, suddenly our Terran player is pushing across the map and you rise very quickly. You've got to find a way to buy a lot of time before your locusts are ready again. And it's nice that your bases are very far set back, But as the game goes on, we're talking about Snute having to defend much more forward bases, such as this gold and this right-hand side base. And so Swarm Host might have been effective for the last minute or so, but as he has to start defending a bit more forward locations, it's just going to be so much more difficult to stop the Terran player from actually continuing to push forwards and attack in. 2 Banshees, Hellbats, and a couple of fours collecting together on the left-hand side tower. A few Roaches from Snute going to be moving in from this right-hand side. Going to actually come through here, and well, there's a full wall off, so he's not going to do much just yet. Banshee squad is coming forwards. Queens will transfuse, and plenty of Queens will help to defend. Hydra's here as well to help. Spire about to finish, and so probably a few Corruptors coming on in. I mean, we have got the Hive, of course, so the potential gun of Brute Lords is there. One Banshee gets just nicked there at the very end, just taken down. The tank sieging up behind this wall will push away those Roaches. 4th base and GuMiho in position as well. Both players really in a solid macro position now to play forwards from. The question really is just who takes the initiative. I mean, Snute in the last kind of mech game really looked kind of good. Knew what he was doing, just looked good throughout. Looked as though he had a good handle on what was happening. Going to be seeing these Roaches and Hydras still collecting together on the forward base. Gold base just going to be finishing, and Banshee's going to go up the right-hand side. Here we've seen a Hellbats, Hellions, a couple of fours just moving forwards themselves, and going to take rid of a couple of those creep teamers. A couple of creep teamers going down, Banshees coming forwards and do pick off a Spore Crawler. You see those couple of tanks sieging up as nice if Doug's fours getting brought into this. Actually, nice parasitic bomb as well to minimize the damage that the tanks are going to do until he's ready to deal with those tanks. Now he grabs one more of them, 2 of them, both go to the high ground. The rest of these tanks being pulled forwards and now up onto the high ground as well. So it's nice pickoffs by Snute. He's got a lot of money in the bank. I do wonder what he's waiting to make. I mean, his Greater Spy is about to finish. I mean, he's kind of just assessing the kind of army of his opponent. He's got 27 lava, so he's got the lava to make whatever he wants. He's just very slowly making sure he's making the right stuff, you know. He's making sure he's making what he wants to make, and there's the Swarm Host. So he's going to go Swarm Host once again. So 12 of them on the way up. I mean, that's kind of crazy. 12 of these Swarm Hosts coming on in here. They're going to be seeing Banshees picking off a couple Creep Teamers over the right-hand side. Another one going down as well. Banshees continuing to fall. Another unit going down on this right-hand side tower. I guess that was just a Hellion or so. It's the Banshees that are very annoying right now, because the Banshees are continuing to do a lot of damage. And that could be a dead Greater Spy. Okay, there comes the Hydralisks. He needs to be very careful about these Banshees, because they can do a lot of damage very quickly. And that can really kind of create some issues very early on, so let's be a little bit cautious about it. We're going to be seeing the Banshees on the right hand side picking off a couple more Hydralisks. As we see Swarmers over here going to jump up and drop down straight away to kill off what, a couple of Hellbats? Not really a lot, and so this is where we get into that weird position where suddenly we've got 12 Swarm Hosts which aren't useful immediately in terms of defending a push. GuMiho not going to push though, he actually holds back on that. Just waiting here, resources lost. Again, favouring Snute. He's been trading well throughout these mech games. Been making very good trades, kind of taking advantage with him to go forward swap from. So that works out nicely for him, as we do see a few more creep teamers killed off here to the side. You see these few Vipers up in the sky moving around as well. A couple of Banshees moving in, a couple of drones starting to be shot down. There's 3, there's 4 workers, now 5, now 6, now 7, now 8. Again, these Banshees are so annoying. It's like probably one of the most annoying things about this game for Snute. The Banshees doing more than anything else, I think, at this point. A few Locusts pop up here, but not really enough to do a lot of damage. Just enough to kind of stall the Terran player for a few moments. Not the rest of the Locusts now realizing that this is a bit more of a committed attack. They will land on the ground, and well, they'll try and trade as well. Roach Hydra coming in as well. Nice Blinding Clouds, sorry, not Parasitic Bombs. Blinding Clouds coming in there. Ducks as well. Suddenly a lot of this tank 4 is being picked away at. This is some good damage done here by Snute. However, army to the left-hand side, his gold base under fire. Snute's face is maybe about to go down, so he's going to have to go and deal with that right here. And we're going to be seeing fours, tanks continuing to fire onto that hatchery. In the gold base falls, Snute has to just wait because he can't do anything about it just yet. 5 Vikings being made at a time. GuMiho realizing that the last time he played this mech composition, he lost out because he didn't have anti-air against the Brood Lords. 5 Vikings at a time means that he's going to have plenty. And this is going to make a bit of a different situation, as we're going to be seeing units still gathering together to the right. A hatchery to the right-hand side from Snute, as we're going to be seeing a few Queens pushing forwards, a few creep tumors will come on down. Just going to continue re-establishing his creep and re-establishing his map control to try and just keep the Terran at bay. Obviously, the further forward that creep is, the less likely the Terran is to push forwards. Just because the creep does give the Zerg that mobility advantage, the vision advantage, and so they can really kind of decide how and a bit more easily execute an engagement as well. Snute here, 6 Broodlords in the skies. Again, there is Vikings now up. Parasitic bombs could be a pretty big part of this. Or even abducts on those Vikings to bring them into the Hydras to get rid of them nice and quickly could be a pretty big deal. A couple of SCVs go down. I think just over to this base over here as we're going to see Locust dropping down. This is just got to be a cancel. We're going to see actually a tank going down. Ooh, not even a tank going down actually. It does surprise me how fast Locusts die sometimes. They really do work so much. You know, it's kind of crazy because they do a lot of damage, but they die so quickly. So if they're in greater numbers, they start doing this insane amount of damage, and you're like, well, how do you ever kill them? You know, they just do so much. Like, they're so valuable. You know, they just always kind of end up doing a crazy amount. You see some Roaches and Hydras to the left-hand side fighting this planetary, as we're actually going to see Vikings still pushing forwards. Brutal's being left here in the center. Hydras trying to keep on fighting as well. The planetary gets repaired, so it will not go down. If there was a blinding cloud on that, it would have been somewhat worthwhile, as we're going to be seeing. Well, this army still pushing forward. So many Vikings means that the Broodlords are in a lot of trouble. Snute has a lot of money to rebuild with. We're going to see Locusts going in the wrong direction to the right-hand side rather than the left. And that's a bit problematic, because Vikings can shoot those Locusts while they're in the sky, which means that a few of them are going to go down. And when they land, there's just not that many of them left over anymore. Snute currently struggling, I guess not really on lava even. He's just, I guess, doesn't know what he wants to build. Anyway, Snute does end up turning this away. He's again down on a much lower drone count than his opponent, but has a much larger army supply. Despite being down supply overall for a few months there, he still maintains an army to fight with, as we're going to be seeing him re-establish an economy on these 2 bases. A couple more drones in production. And we're going to be seeing him with extra upgrades finishing up as well. Flyer characters going to be very important to keep Broodlords and so on alive against Viking shots. Corruptors too, even Vipers benefiting from that Carapace upgrade. Anything to keep units alive will help Snute out in this in these upcoming fights. So you'll see this right-hand side base able to be saturated as well here shortly, I imagine. You'll see a little bit of an army moving down the center. Some Broodlords still overhead over here as well. Some Hydras and Roaches all gathering up together on this right side. Going to drop some Locusts down. Only a couple of SCVs in position on the gold base, but it is still denying the gold base from being built, which is still a big benefit. So Snute just pop some Locusts over in that direction. 5 more Swarm Hosts coming into play, as GuMiho is going to start building nukes. Well, nukes are going to be on the way. That's going to be a little bit crazy, as you're going to see some tanks pushing forwards here. Going to see Broodlords maybe want to pull forwards to kind of deal with that. I'm not sure what the best situation or scenario is. Here we go, though. After you're going to see these units pushing forwards, Hydra's out of position over to the right-hand side. A lot of Broodlords taking a lot of damage here right away, as Vipers go down pretty quickly. There's a few still in the back. But now these tanks are siege, he doesn't have Locusts to soak up the initial tank shots. This is going to be a bit painful, as again the Ghosts coming forwards too, ready for EMPs or snipes, whatever he can find. EMPs would be really nice on the Vipers actually, if you can get in range of them. That'd be actually a really big deal, as we're going to be seeing this gold base. Again, just mining away to the left hand side, as we see a couple of tanks just sieged on up and firing onto that mineral line. Here you go, Viper's going to abduct forwards, and these forwards being pulled on in to this army again. That's the efficiency that Snute was having a lot early on in this series, or in this game. It hasn't really found for a little while now. 17.5 minutes in, this mech army still looking strong, as is Snute. A lot of Locusts going to pop up here, and GuMiho back in array at the right time, realizing that Snute's probably going to commit forwards shortly. So backs away out of this. Ooh, Vikings actually is left alone to the right hand side. Wants to be careful about those. Parasitic bombs coming down. Again, blinding clouds coming down. Really bad at that. Anyways, we see Locusts do land, and here we go. We're going to see a couple of EMPs landing, but not really on anything in particular. I just stick around to fight, but back away as the tanks siege up. So many Vikings in the sky. You wonder if it's even worth building air units anymore. I guess parasitic bombs, actually parasitic bombs this time, could be very good. As you see, Brutal's being chased. Queen's here will be able to pick off a couple of Vikings if he target fires, but he's being chased by a ground army as well. Gets a couple of Vikings. Not too many. The Vikings are actually going to land to help out on the ground now. After killing off a lot of the Broodlords in the skies, he feels as though landing with these Vikings might just be the better option. Interesting scenarios. We see GuMiho pushing on over to the right. Still 30 army supply ahead, just way down on worker supply. Still has a bank to work with though, so for now he's okay. He'll lose this right hand side base, so that is an issue because GuMiho's on 5 bases. Snute, if he can't establish a 5th base, will miss out later in the game, and he needs that base. Especially because this gold base eventually will not be too hard for GuMiho to hold. If GuMiho just positions his army more to the right hand side, that gold base gets taken, then Snute is 2 bases behind. And that's really costly for him, as we're going to be seeing a couple of abducts. Tanks sieging up, Hydra's pushing one through as well. A few Broodlords still trying to join the fray. A few Vikings on the ground, a few in the sky. Realizing, I guess it's a kind of a nice mixture, right? Because he knows he doesn't need as many in the sky as he has right now. So he lands them until maybe he needs them once again. Hydras and Swarmhost still collecting up together as these Vikings moving around too, so let's see where else they want to go. A few more Swarmhosts coming on up here from Snute. He stays maxed out. It's just a question of can he find the right engagement to engage into this army. I feel as though he can, just GuMiho's doing a very good job of positioning himself and disengaging well before Locusts come in, etc. Cancels whatever that was built. What's 75 gas on the cancel? A Sense Tower perhaps? I guess so. Cancel on the Sense Tower, yeah, it was a Sense Tower. GuMiho starts to rebuild it there right away. Again, it's just going to come into position though, denies this gold base, and again, that's so important because he needs to make sure that he tries to at least stay even on bases here. So he cannot afford that gold base to be mined from. I see him making a big push in towards these couple of orbitals down here. A few SCVs going down as well. And GuMiho has a bit of use for those. I mean, losing them isn't exactly like, losing these SCVs isn't like, oh, well, I didn't need them. But I mean, he's still in a good eco position, so losing 12 isn't the end of the world. I guess they were just going to look to long distance mine up here. He actually doesn't have mining on his third base right now, despite minerals being left over, so a bit of a mistake right there. All these Hydras up and on their own at the moment. Where is the support for them? Locusts, or Swarmers coming forward. Locusts not ready for 15 more seconds. Vipers in the sky and Broodlords too will be able to stay alive for now. Still just a lot of Vikings. I do wonder if he's just overmade Vikings even. There's a lot of tanks on the ground, but he's got 17 Vikings against 3 Broods and 5 Vipers. I mean, 17 Vikings here could really be kind of 5 or 6. I mean, get rid of the Broods fast enough. It's enough to poke away at the Vipers and push them back as well. So, I mean, he's got enough. We're going to see tanks spreading out a little bit right now. Spreading out all over the place. And just taking, again, a nice forward central position on the map. You're going to be seeing these Hydras and Swarmhosts still collecting together. Still Snute just thinking about how he wants to fight this. And GuMiho, I think, realizing like he just wants to take this base now. So GuMiho going to make sure he takes this base by just setting up a big siege in this position. And that makes it difficult for Snute to fight into. A lot of Snute's fights up until now really have been focused around just engaging in from kind of, while the Terran plays a bit, out of position or whatever, all the rest. You see Swarmers over here. I mean, they're going to get rid of this base, sure, but, I mean, does that matter? It's a plenty. I mean, there's what, like, I guess there's a little bit of gas left, about a few hundred minerals. Not that much, though, so this planetary force going down isn't the end of the world. Snute, I think, really does have to now start focusing. On the right-hand side of the map, once again, we're going to be seeing this hatchery to the far right from Snute is not going to get a chance to actually finish building, so he is starting to get into a bit of a troubling spot. He's 6,000 resources ahead on resources lost. That's okay. That's pretty okay for him. But I can't help but feel it's still not quite enough. We're going to be seeing these couple of tanks firing away here. I mean, Vipers really need to come in to kind of parasitic bomb down. Blinding Cloud down. Why can I not get that right? Blinding Cloud down or something. You're going to be seeing these Vipers full of energy right now. The problem is the Vikings are so well spread as well. Snute, I think if he concentrates his entire attack in one location, like maybe down this position here, like a lot of the units will not actually be in the right position to begin with for the engagement, so it might kind of help, because if, fights into, I guess, this position here, for example, only this half of the army is going to fight, this half isn't going to do anything. So GuMiho may be spreading a bit too thinly. Does Snute find that opportunity? Battlecruiser's on the way as well, by the way, for GuMiho, so he's continuing to set this up. As we're going to be seeing these units still just spread out. First game went just over 25 minutes long. This one heading in the same direction right here on Overgrowth. As we're going to be seeing the multiple battlecruisers continue to build. I think his Snute really is starting to mine out himself now. I mean, GuMiho doesn't have exactly a lot of minerals left over. He's got a few here and there. He's actually left a lot behind in his main base, his natural base, his third base. I mean, it's only minerals, and he might be more gas-starved than anything else right now. But again, it's the fact that this base over here is very fresh. He's got 4k gas to mine from this. And that's going to make a big difference. Locust coming through. Yeah, kills off one, maybe 2 tanks. Ugh, very close, just didn't quite get the second one. We look at the right-hand side as well. Going to take down a couple of turrets in the front, and another tank also. Again, little bits and pieces just to try and work his way through this position in the middle of the map right here. Swarmhost still split up. I'm going to see the Broodlord still gathering overhead as well. A few more BCs still just building. So a few more BCs really going to make kind of a game change, because Snute doesn't have anti-air of his own right now, and there is that nuke. Going to start pushing back some of these spore crawlers. Yeah, Snute doesn't really have like corruptors or his own real anti-air to deal with battlecruisers with super effectively. Going to have to rely on kind of abducts and Hydralisk. As you see, the nuke only hit on a couple of creep tumors here. Another one already starting to build from GuMiho. Still just so spread out. Whenever Snute comes around the left-hand side with everything, engages in this direction. Wonder how that goes for him. There's a very deep siege tank line in that regard. And he might get counter-attacked in very early on because of that. And you go, actually, he's just going to attack from this top side. Still looks for some of the situation as we're going to be seeing the Brood lanes doing a very good job. Locust as well, cleaned up a lot of these Hellbats. Now GuMiho, though, is starting to mine from Snute's base on this side. And that means that GuMiho is not just one base ahead of Snute, he's 2 bases ahead of Snute. And that's going to be a base that Snute will not mine from himself. So that is problematic because, again, resources lost is very good for Snute. But it's not enough to make up for 2 bases. 1 base he's getting close to, and I think he can be efficient enough to make up for. 2 bases, not a chance. So Snute has to make sure this doesn't happen. He has to get rid of this command center here, otherwise he's in trouble. Waiting for the Locust again, just going for the exact same fight as what we just saw the last time around. A few ghosts moving forwards here initially. There go the Locust dropping down. Yamato cannons onto the Broodlord, snipes as well. As the Ghosts do start to get picked off here though, the Vikings moving forwards, and actually the Hydra's going to take the opportunity to move in as well, try and fight this. It's kind of messy, hard to say what's really going on. A lot of Vikings starting to get shot down though. BC's taking a lot of damage as well, but I don't think the Hydras can stick around. BC damage plus the splash from tanks is just a little bit too much. 6 more Corruptors on the way here. Planetary Fortress holding to the right hand side for now. Now that's a real issue for Snute, I think. The fact that you just can't get rid of that base. Another battlecruiser building in production, some more tanks as well. These tanks moving forwards. I mean, GuMiho giving up his position to the left hand side a bit. I mean, Snute's definitely making progress. He's definitely making progress because he's forced GuMiho to now focus completely to the right rather than being as spread out as he was. Which is nice, but I think it might just be too late because Snute, again, he's missing out on gas and GuMiho's mining that gas. Actually, Snute has some gas here. That's his only gas mine. Does he have gas here? Nope. Wow, he's in a little bit of a tough spot. We see some Zerglings going to run by and try and do a little bit of something. I mean, there's Hellions here, though. If they could get on top of the tanks, that'd be nice. Actually going to move the Hydralisk forwards. I think of a few more of these SCVs. Just wants to stop GuMiho from taking any minerals. I guess Snute takes this hatchery because, again, he just feels as though anything he can get to this left-hand side is nice. But the problem is, again, GuMiho's mined so much of this already. And it's really not very good for Snute at all, the fact that he's going to be kind of taking a mined out base compared to his opponent that takes a fresh base. It's going to be 1 dead hive here, and if you don't think that queen that's building is going to make much of a difference against these battlecruisers. Hive down. Now no more Viper production. So Snute, what does he have in Vipers? Only 2 of them. That's not a lot. He's moving down this left-hand side, positioning his army once again over here. Line of turrets from GuMiho as he mines this top right base. And what does Snute do? I mean, there's a lot of gases he can deny. That's great. GuMiho's just starting to trade a lot better, though, in general. Snute's going to be coming in from the left-hand side. Again, I mean, these little fights right here, I feel are okay from, like, little bits and pieces. But I just don't see how he takes the larger fights in the end against those battlecruisers and so on. Lingers and Hydras are going to start working their way through these depots over here. And Snute's going to start making his way through a lot of this. But has to start pulling back, because look at this, Vikings are getting into position as well. And Snute just looking to see, does he want to take the fight? Well, probably not. Army supplies even. I sort of feel as though Snute's opportunities have passed in this game. I don't necessarily think he had, I don't think he necessarily threw it away. I just feel as though if he wanted to take a fight, there was better times for it. And obviously he sort of felt as though maybe waiting was the best choice. But in the end, it just hasn't worked out for him. Lingers and Hydras pushing on forwards, and maybe seeing these turrets being picked away at. So a few turrets going down here right away. Locust dropping down as well, and actually picking up a whole bunch of these turrets right here. I mean, there's just too much from GuMiho, I think. Moving on forwards, Snute doesn't have enough, and now he's used up his Locust wave. I mean, GuMiho, what is there to stop him? Absolutely nothing at all. He can push up here if he would like to. I guess the spores will kind of slow him down. Corruptors coming down from Snute as well as he tries to build a composition that can fight against these units. It's just not happening. It is just not happening. A couple more Vikings on the way from GuMiho. I mean, he still just builds up into everything he needs. And again, where did this go wrong from Snute? He was having a good game for a while. And it's just the bases. Unable to hold this right-hand side base, this base here as well for a while. I mean, he eventually did get his mining on this base, which is great. But I mean, I think there's kind of a definite moment when this kind of game turned around. Well, it's going to land here, and again, they're going to kill off maybe a tank or so. It's just not enough right now, though. When this gold base got taken, I think that's when the game turned around from Snute having a position where, while he wasn't mining as much, he was trading much better, and he had the base, he was still even on bases. When that base got taken, it helped GuMiho out a lot, and it kind of made Snute make sure he had to keep on trading efficiently. And GuMiho made all the right moves to start getting into a better composition that will slow down the efficiency of Snute's army. And we're just going to be seeing these army now starting to push on forward. Snute really does not have much left at all. It's a 30-minute game here on Overgrowth. These guys like to play very long games. Looks as though we're going to have Bjorn versus GuMiho in our quarterfinals of today's WardiTV weekly number 2. As there's some more Locusts dropping on down. Kills off a couple of times, but again, how do you ever kill the battle cruisers? Queens and so on, I mean, they'll help. It's just never going to be enough. Snute trying to once again retake this hatch bottom left. He's trying to do whatever he can to stay in this. I think the reality is that GuMiho has just got a little bit too much right now. QP is pulled. Now Terran player just take the series 2-1, but what a fantastic series.